It's another week of St. Joe Bears football, and we're excited to be talking with our broadcast team, Michael Arney and Brett Witkowski. So this is now week 4 for the Bears, and really looking forward to this. The Bears so far undefeated, 3-0, going to Kalamazoo Central, who's 1-2. So the St. Joe Bears versus the Maroon Giants, not to be confused with the Jolly Green Giants. So this should be a pretty, I think, a good game, right, guys? I mean, do the records reflect how the play is when it comes to these two teams, Brett?
Well, Kalamazoo Central to me literally is a sleeping giant athletic-wise. It's a home of Derek Jeter. It's a home of Jennings, who was a wideout, played for the Packers for a long time. Just tons of athletes of the 1,600 kids in that school walking the halls. They just can't seem to always get together on the football side. They've hired a new coach, and Coach Stranger, he was the Wajek's head coach for a long time. So he knows how to build a program and get a program strong. It's a series that's been dominated by the Bears lately. They've won 10 in a row. But the one thing with Kalamazoo Central, if they get going early in the game, they are hard to control and maintain. And it's what's interesting. This is the only regular season game that the Bears will play on grass. It's just amazing how that has changed so much over the years.
That is interesting to think about it. I mean, they actually have to bring out like real cleats and get ready for the game that way. So that's going to be a factor, I'm sure, with that. But I mean, we've noticed even these past few weeks, it's kind of been, I would say, a little bit all over the place when it comes to the scoring and the offense and the defense. A little bit of, record-setting scoring one week, and then struggle a little bit and struggle with it even on defense. So it should be a tough game.
It will be a tough game. And I think St. Joe has their work cut out for them. Again, being on grass, being it's their first visit to Kalamazoo Central since 2017, that's going to play a role in it as well. I'm looking at last week's game as maybe a bit of a blip that they struggled like they did on offense. Defense, they held. 3 points is all they allowed. So that was a big factor in that game. So I think that they'll kind of right the ship on offense this week. That's just my hunch.
Well, and to me, St. Joe still has not played that complete game.
Right.
2 weeks ago, the offense was lighting it up. Defense gave up over 400 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, the offense really struggled for the most part until the fourth quarter. And then you had the defense have 2 goal line stands on 1st and goal. I cannot ever remember that happening at any level to stop a team at 1st and goal 2 times in the ball game. But as I've said during the broadcast, and I told Mike, if I'm a head coach of any sport, I want defense over offense. I know the fans don't always like that, but you never know when the offense is just not going to click. And you get that in all sports. And, in Michigan with football, you get that with the weather effect. But the one thing you want every week is defense. Because, last week could easily, if they'd had the defense they had 2 weeks ago, they could have lost 21-30. But because of that strong defense, and the 3 points only came off a fumble with a field goal following that. So, I think that's important. I think the other part is, last week we saw Preston Nichols, the all-state sprinter, who's also one of the 2 quarterbacks. St. Joe put him as a wideout, and he just blew by his defenders. It was like me standing still and someone running by me, and Lanier did a great pass to Nichols for 30 yards for a touchdown. How do you get your best athletes on the field at all times? That's probably the big challenge for Coach Pratley right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is one factor, but a good factor when you've got that kind of speed, and that is going to certainly help in the games. But really, like you said, with defense, the defense needs to help stop the team, but also the offense has to play well enough to not tire the defense out. You don't want the defense on the field for a long period of time and 3 and out on the offense. You don't want that. You want a little bit more of a balance. But yeah, that defense needs to play hard and stop. And so looking forward to this game. What about when it comes to concession stands? That's also a factor when people are coming to these games. What do things look like over there at Kalamazoo Central?
Well, they got a good concession stand. The press box food, it kind of comes and goes on who's the AD there. It's not the best press box or biggest one, excuse me. I'm not going to say it's not the best. It's not the biggest. So we'll be there early and then we'll get a good sampling. Usually we set up where we just have to turn around and grab the food. Unlike at St. Joe, where we actually have to walk 20 steps and grab the food from Mike.
Right. Yeah, I don't get a chance to get away from the microphone at St. Joe by the time the food gets there. So Brett brings me the pizza.
Well, that's
we
good.
Take care of Mike. We set up the big guy. You got to take care of the main man so he can keep that voice golden and tummy happy.
Absolutely.
Well, we're in trouble.
Well, at least the tummy's happy.
Okay,
there
so
you go.
A couple other things that I know people care about, or at least I do. Is it going to be pants or shorts, Mike?
Shorts.
Shorts.
It's going to be hot.
It is going to be a warm one. Like, what is a high of 88, I think, tomorrow. So I'm sure game time. I think so, from what I was looking at.
So it's going to be warm.
Yeah,
and we're farther inland than we are from the lake. So yeah.
And,
well, and with that said, the one thing St. Joe has is massive numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Last Friday, I think St. Joe had 60 dressed on the sideline. Portage Northern May had 25 or 30.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference. I think the one player, though, if I could, that I think has really kind of stood out and done a great job and shows that size doesn't matter is Hunter Lang. He's 5'7", 145. Wow. Leads the team in tackles, leads the team in interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Had 2 big ones last week. And, I think that's what I love about high school sports, guys, is, only thing that limits you is what your mind does, what your mind leads you to.
But Hudson also led the team with 9 tackles last week, too.
Yep. It just shows that, if you got the will and you're willing to play, get out there and do it because you can contribute.
Absolutely. And it's going to be a fun game and a great thing to listen to. I always love listening to the game. Even if you're at the stadium, it's good to listen as well. You can download the app at www.wsjm.com. You can listen there as well. And we can follow us on Twitter. Was it Bear, not Bears, Bear WSJM. You can see live tweets of the game. There was, pretty much every play we're tweeting about it, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, every play. And, the beauty of what we do is there's no delays, right?
Yep.
When you're watching, you're at the game, you got your radio, they match up. So that's the beauty of all that. Or if you're listening on your phone or whatever, or you're watching on Twitter if you're at dinner or something, everything is instantaneous. No 90-second delays.
Absolutely. And then you can get that, you can get our really cool sports radios as well, radioobsessed.com. But looking forward to, again, the Kalamazoo Central Maroon Giants is who we are playing against with the St. Joe Bears happening later on tonight. Mike and Brett, looking forward to hearing you guys a little bit later on this evening.
Gonna be a good time.
Thank you, gentlemen.